What's going on YouTube? We got another PGA Tour 2K25 guide today, and today's going to be going over my golf bag. So I'm going to show you what is in my bag, what clubs I'm using, what are my fittings right now, uh, which will also mix in with my last video, which I can leave the link in the description, which is going over how I got to max level so fast and what my attributes are as a max level, because the archetype and attributes you have will also tie in to your fittings in your bag. And I'll show the different clubs that I use and what you can use. And I'm also going to be showing, since some people have asked, how to use level up tokens and Evo tools in order to get your clubs from core to sapphire. Okay, so that's what we're going to be going over today, and let's get into it. So, with my driver, my 3-wood, and all of my irons, I have all power fittings. Because if you saw my last video, my attributes for power is what I didn't focus too much on. I think it's 52 power. And I put basically everything into swing path contact. And now I'm making up some ground with fittings. So I still have 82 overall power. I'm still carrying it 290, 290, 258, and I have the power drive, which goes over 300, and then my irons 238. Pretty good gappings. And if you saw my last video, I didn't know what I was going to do with my fittings yet on the wedges, but I do know what I'm going to do on them now. So I'm actually going to show you guys how to use. Actually, no. I do know what I'm going to do. The wedges, so if we go into the wedges, I have 3 power fittings because if you look at my pitching wedge, it goes 142. My 50 degree now goes 125, so it makes the gappings a lot better. And I can shape and use the choked approach and choked tee shots in order to make up for those gaps and barely have to shape it, because in this game, when you shape it, it makes your perfect zones a lot smaller, so I don't like shaping it as much. So instead of going shaping, I went power for 3 of them to make the gaps good, and now the last 2 I'm going to be putting on recovery to increase lie ranges with wedges, so I can hopefully get up and down more and hopefully get some more spin around the greens and with my wedges. And then with my putter, I am using 2 putt path and 2 putt contact to get those up to like 83 overall. Because the weight and rhythm, if you saw my last video, I don't really put too much stock into those. So I just want to be able to hit my point so it starts on the line I want it to. And now I'll go over actually what clubs I'm using. I'm using a driver, a 3-wood, a 2-iron. Then I go to a 4-iron. So right here, my choked goes like 230, and that's kind of what I use to get the gapping better with a little bit of shaping. And same here. And then I have 5 through pitching wedge, and then I have a 50 degree, a 56, and a 62. I felt like the 62 gave me a little bit shorter shots, which I like to have a little bit, such as like the spinner is a little bit shorter. But it's kind of preference. It's not that big of a deal to have a 62 to a 60 degree. Like if I go and not change my wedge, go into replace club. So if you change wedge or change whatever club you're on, that's going to be how you change the cosmetic of the iron. And replace is going to be how you can pick different clubs. So there's actually some nice additions this year. Adding the 2-iron, which I already have, and then a 7-wood, and then some different degrees of wedges. So I think 195. I don't have the power on them yet either. Actually, let's just show it. So if I used a 60 degree, I don't like that you have to change it and then go back in and change the wedge. It's kind of weird. But if I go in and change it to this one, the gapping, it will be 98. Yeah, so I mean like 4 more yards. So I just like having a little bit shorter for my lowest club, so that on some of those shorter shots, I have like a shot that spins a little bit more. But again, it's kind of just preference. It's not a big deal to have that, to be honest. But I just like that gapping. And then I use the 50 degree, so it's a lot closer to my pitching wedge. That one I do care about because it's like 6 yards. So how far does this one go again? We'll go back into it. We'll change the wedge back to my Vokey. 92. So yeah, it's about 6 yards, which is, I mean, decently big of a deal. If you want more of a gapping, I mean, less gapping between these, I don't really care because I have, again, the choked tee shot and choked approach help it a lot and barely shaping it. But if you want a little bit less gapping instead of having the shorter shot and like a little bit shorter of a shot when you get closer, or you want maybe your super flops and flops to go like a couple yards longer, then do a 60 degree. But I like the 62. So those are the clubs I'm using. I'm using a Scotty Cameron putter. But now I'm going to go in here and show you guys how to put everything on. So I already have this maxed out to a max level, so I can't do any more until season 2. There's going to be another Evo after Sapphire, so I can't do anything there, but I can change into my AI Smoke, which I'm leveling up right now. It's going to be the same stuff I put on it, but I kind of like the look of it better now that I've unlocked it through the sponsors and career. So this is how you do it. So to apply a fitting in these slots, when they open up, like my Evo's on, it's locked right now. They'll be locked, these slots. You'll see it if I show you, say, even my wedge. See how that one's like, it's partially through on the last +6. You have two different things. You have player XP and you have club XP. So each time you play with the certain set of clubs, they gain XP, and then that's how you level up these slots. So then you put fittings in there when you level them up. They start at +2 each of 5. So you can get +10 total. When you get to Sapphire, you can get +30 of total overall boost. So right now, if I went in here, I'd place whatever fitting I want. Say I wanted, I'll use one I'll never use. Correction. Apply. You'll apply the fitting, and then it's in there. Okay? And then, since this is locked right now, to get past it, you can use our level up tokens. So they give you 1 extra level from where you're already at. So if I press cost, I have 1 level up token, use it, and now it unlocks this, which I can use an Evo tool. And now all my slots are +6. But I can't put any fittings on except for the first one until I level these up or use level up tokens. So I'll go in and put my power fitting on. So now I have +6 on my power instead of it was a +4, and then before that is a +2. So that is how you use level up tokens, you apply fittings, and you Evo tool. And then, as you can see there, I lost all those fittings, so they go away. So my recommendation would be wait until you get to Sapphire to put fittings on, unless, I'll show you this, I'm not going to be able to level it up yet. There are legendary limited editions. So if you get this, it's in the shop actually right now for like 500 VC. When you level these up, you can put in your fittings, whatever you want, when you finally go through and level them. And then each time you Evo, your fittings will stay. That's why the limited editions, these golds, are better than the other ones. But again, clubs are only cosmetic. So, like, a brand's not inherently better than the other. Like, you can't use a Scotty Cameron. It's going to give you better putting stats than, like, maxed out than, say, a Spider. But you can get these legendary ones, which you have to level up each club on its own, which kind of sucks. But that's how it is. So, like, I have to level my AI Smoke. It's not just leveling up your driver club progression and they change through and you just have to put in different fittings. They all reset for each club. You gotta get it to you gotta get the XP on the clubs and play with them. But the legendary, this is why the legendaries are good. This is why the clubhouse pass, the last tier, is good to have if you aren't gonna wait, if you don't want to waste fittings. But fittings you can buy in the shop under upgrades and the golf clubs for 50 a pop, so it's like it's not that big of a deal anyway. If you want to waste fittings, in my opinion, if you're gonna play a lot, like I already have 8,000 VC and we're only a couple days in, and I have a crap ton of fittings. So, yeah. So my bag total is just putting a ton of power in, And I have all these sapphire and then these degree wedges. I'll put 2 recovery after 3 power, and the rest I'm just stacking power fittings. Again, if you want to see my attributes before the fittings, my last video shows all that, so that will show that to lead into your fittings, and you can copy my entire build, which is of a max level guy. So if you guys enjoy that, please leave a like, leave a comment, and hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.